Let me ask you a question. Do you wish you had no problem in life? Of course, Neeraj. Who wants problems? What do you pray to God? If you pray to God, typically I have seen people praying to God saying, God, remove all my problems, make me happy. Probably a very common prayer, right? That's not a very intelligent way of praying to God. Let me explain why. Because this video could completely change the way you look at life, look at yourself, and look at problems. Let's get started. Before I explain this concept to you, let me narrate a story of a 6-year-old boy who was watching a cocoon and a caterpillar was trying to come out of it. The boy was watching for a very long time. The caterpillar is struggling to come out of the cocoon. After watching for quite some time, the boy developed that empathy. He said, you know what, I can't see this caterpillar struggling. Let me help it out. So he opens the cocoon. And after that, the butterfly, which is supposed to become a butterfly, couldn't fly for the rest of its life. The boy thought he was helping the butterfly, but he did probably the biggest disservice to it, and it couldn't fly for the rest of its life. It is in the process of opening the cocoon is how the butterfly gets strength to its wings. That they are exactly the problems that we face in our life, friends. If we do not face the problem, if we do not become strong emotionally and psychologically, we can never take on bigger problems in life. But Neeraj, who wants problems? Why should we take on problems in life? That's the biggest secret that I want to talk to you today. You know what? Who are the richest or the most successful people? They are the ones who have solved probably the biggest problems in life, whether it is Jeff Bezos, whether it is Bill Gates, or whether it is Elon Musk. Look at the kind of problems they have solved. They are not normal. It is not easy to develop an operating system that practically runs every computer in the world. It's not easy, and that's not a normal problem. So the secret is very simple. Do you want to be ultra rich? Do you want to be ultra happy and ultra successful? Solve the biggest problem that you could. So your happiness, your richness is directly proportional to the complexity and the magnitude of the problems we solve. So if you say that give me smaller problems or don't give me problems, you are actually praying to God saying that make me the poorest. Because there are no miracles. Let's accept it. You don't have gold falling from the sky. You and I know that very well. So if we want to be rich, if we want to be successful, we probably should wish for some of the most complex problems in life. You may still have a contradiction, but Neeraj, I still don't want problems. We are actually contradicting to ourselves. We are actually telling, Neeraj, I don't want to be rich. But how do we strike a balance? I don't want to suffer. I want to solve a problem, but I don't want to be suffering. I want to be rich. I want to be happy. How do we fix all these things together? Stick with me. You're going to love this conversation. Let me ask you a question. When you are probably in the 2nd or 3rd standard, had I given you this problem, 987 into 991, how did the problem look like back then? Massive, right? We wished, especially if you had a teacher who was standing in front of you with a stick, you wished the earth should open, the teacher should go down. Back then, it looked like a massive problem, but today, it looks like a joke. What happened? Did the problem change? No. Problem is the same even 1 million years from now. It is just that we have become better. So in life, problems don't change. We become better. What looked like a massive problem back then probably looks like a joke to you. Just go back to your own college days. If you're a working professional, how much we were worried. I don't know whether we will be able to submit a project, whether we will pass in the exam. I don't know. I'm not able to crack this problem. Some relationship problems back then, interview. Back then it looked like, oh my God, will I even survive? Today when we reflect, it's like, did we worry so much about that? Don't you have that experience? Similarly, what you think is a massive problem to you today will look like a child's play 10 years down the line. The only caveat is if you are improving. So instead of praying to God saying, I don't want problem or give me a lesser problem, we will have to pray to God saying, God, give me the biggest problem in life, but make me so competent, so strong that I laugh at it. Just like how you were laughing at multiplication problem that we spoke about a while ago. But why do we need this muscle? Why do we need to solve problems? Think about it, friends. Nothing comes easy to us. If somebody says it's easy to be successful, they're just making a video to become popular. But you and I know very well that yes, we can be smart, but unfortunately there is no shortcut to hard work. We will face obstacles in the way of you becoming rich, becoming famous. You will meet tough people. You will have problems that look horrendous to you. You need to face those adversities and emotions. People will not agree to you easily. So you have to face tough customers, tough bosses, tough colleagues, tough family situations, tough financial adversities. We will face them. Because that's a part of the nature, that's the design of the nature. If you want to be healthy, you got to lift weights. It is painful. So when we are about to face things, unless you have the muscle to face them, you will fall flat. And that's exactly what is happening to our kids. They are so emotionally fragile that they end up committing suicide. We are seeing that on a daily basis, whether they're in IIT coaching, whether it's in Kota or somewhere, just because they couldn't prepare for the examination, just because they couldn't face their parents, just because they were afraid of the society, they end up committing suicide. In fact, it was such a tragic thing to know. It was a few years ago that a girl died. She committed suicide because she was denied a remote for the television. Can somebody be so emotionally fragile? But our kids are today. So we need to be super strong emotionally, nothing. We should be thick-skinned. Any problem, no problem. We will face it. And can we build that muscle overnight? No. We will have to go through that path to become so strong. That's why if you work with some very senior people, you go to them with a huge problem. Oh my God, boss, look at this. This is what has happened. This customer has done like this. Looks like we will lose all the orders. He will smile and say, don't worry. We'll figure this out. It's not because he's a genius, it's just because he's developed such a strong emotional muscle that he can just handle it. And that's exactly a part of the life, and that's a design of the life. You and I have to agree and believe that yes, I need problems so that I'm so strong that when the time comes, I am in control, I know what to do, I have the right strategy, and I will not be let down and I will not give up. And mind you, this is not a knowledge thing I'm talking to you. I meet so many professionals on a daily basis for the last 25 years. I have several graduate trainees coming to me and telling me that, you know what, Neeraj, I don't know whether I will ever get a job. I've attended 5 interviews, 10 interviews. Every time I get rejected. I said, don't worry, you will get it. Just focus on your upskilling. I said, Neeraj, it's easy for you. You're already a very successful person. I said, no, I've seen it all. I've seen a lot of people who have been very successful and they still don't believe me, but they go with a little pessimism saying, I know, but let us see. I don't know whether I'm so lucky or not. After 1 year, 2 years, we meet. I said, what happened? He said, I got a job. And after 5-10 years, they're heading an organization, or 10-15 years. And we laugh about that together. They keep telling me, Neeraj, you remember I came to you, I was so worried whether I'll get a job or not. You told me you will get. Now I understand what you meant back then. Trust me, friends. One thing that is absolutely non-negotiable is our ability, our constant pursuit to build that emotional muscle, psychological muscle, the belief. And the tagline should be, if there is a problem, you should say, bring it on, baby. Bring a much bigger problem. And that's what is the change or a shift in the thinking. So henceforth, whenever you get a problem, you should not be worried. You should not be cursing your luck. You should be super thrilled, saying, you know what? I'm becoming better. I am emotionally better. I'm psychologically better. I'm intellectually better. It is like just how you go to gym to build a body. You don't enjoy lifting 2 kgs after a month. You'll go on pumping 15, 20 kgs so that higher you lift, more number of curls, better the muscles. Exactly similar way. Higher the problems, bigger a problem, bigger emotional muscle. So what's the takeaway? If you're a parent, guardian, don't overprotect your kids. Let them face the real world. Send them into the real world. As long as obviously we don't leave the intelligence outside of the room. We don't put them in life-threatening situations. Make them face the world. Let them face adversity. Don't give them a lecture. If you talk about how hot fire is, don't touch them. Don't do that. Allow them to touch the fire once. they won't touch it again. Similarly, send them to banks, send them to government offices, send them to get few things done. Let them negotiate, let them fail, let them make some decisions, let them falter, let them come back, allow them to make purchasing decisions, allow them to handle challenges at home. Give them responsibilities. You know what will that make them? They'll become so strong that they will become responsible adults. And they will thank you because you made them so strong at all levels. Don't overprotect them. I don't know whether he'll be able to do it or not. They will. Didn't you do it? Didn't you become successful? So as your kids. But don't forget, don't put them in life-threatening situations. I totally get it. But don't forget that. In fact, that's exactly what I did. I'm from a village. So this is how I learned swimming. Back then, there was no swimming pool back in our village. We just had open wells that is used for irrigation of the fields. We used to learn swimming, and I used to learn swimming. I went with some of my friends. I said, I want to learn swimming. He said, no problem. So he just tied some rope onto my back. I was very clear in my mind, what's the big deal? You just jump, move your hands and legs, you will automatically swim. That was my reality back then before getting into water. We just reached the edge of the well and one of my friends pushed me. Even before I realized I was in the water. I was gasping, I was drowning. I had all the intellectual thing in my mind saying this is how one should swim, but nothing worked. I was almost about to drown. Then they pulled me up. Again, I came up, I said, dude, who did that? Before I even realized, second fellow came and pushed me. So my learning curve was so steep that within few hours, I knew how to swim. That's experience. One can never learn swimming through correspondence. So intellectual knowledge is fantastic, but put yourself in the real situation. That will make you so strong, so emotionally stable that no problems in the world can ever bother you. I do agree, it is a tumor, it feels painful, that it has to get operated, that laziness, that fear, that inhibition, they are like tumors. They need to be operated, it's painful, but unfortunately we don't have a choice. Just remember this, more you sweat in the practice, less we bleed in the war. So get ready to face the real world. Forward this video to those people who are extremely overprotective of their kids. If this video has added value to you, please do share with people. Together, let's make a difference to the world. Thank you so much. I'll see you again soon.